and welcome to week 1 of English 120. This week, I'll provide another introduction to the class, let you know how to reach me, give you an introduction to discussion forums and how you'll be graded, introduce active reading, how we'll be journaling, and an active reading exercise, and I'll provide a brief introduction to Launchpad. For this week, you'll need to read 2 important documents. First is a web article called Jack John Griffith London, and the URL is found here. The second is from the Portable Jack London, one of our textbooks. You need to read the introduction. The assignments for this week, you'll be posting your first discussion forum post and responding to at least 3 of your peers' posts. You'll write your first journal entry, and you'll complete your first research module orientation and overview. Welcome. It's nice to virtually meet you. I am Dr. Iris Jamal Dunkel. You can just call me Dr. Dunkel. I've taught English for the last 12 years. I have a BA from George Washington University and an MFA from New York University and a PhD in American Literature from Case Western Reserve University. I am a poet and a Jack London scholar. You can learn more about me in this week's discussion forum, where I will post. I've already posted our first post for that discussion as a model for how I would like you guys to post yours. I really look forward to meeting all of you virtually online in our class. So welcome to our class. Weekly content for this class is going to be posted every Wednesday morning. Please make sure you log in Wednesday mornings and get started. You'll see a video lecture and PDFs of the lecture slides. Watch this video first. After you watch the lecture, complete the week's assignments in the order that they are posted. You must complete all of the assignments during the week that they are due. If you have any questions, the best way to reach me is via email or in person during office hours. Please make sure you let me know which class you're from. I do teach 4 classes, and it's important you mention, hey, Dr. Dunkel, I am blah, blah, I am John Smith from your English 120 online class. These are our required textbooks. Books are available at our campus bookstore. Please obtain these books as soon as possible. You must have them by the end of this week. As you'll see by reviewing our course schedule, you already have readings due this week. So the books are The Portable Jack London, edited by Earl Laver, and The Bedford Researcher. This is the 5th edition. The Bedford Researcher also comes bundled with Launchpad, which is the research units we're going to be doing in this class. Course requirements. Please expect to log in at least 4 times a week and come prepared for class, just as you would in a normal face-to-face class. Post regularly in our online discussion forums and respectfully respond to your peers. I will post a rubric on our course site that clearly states how your participation will be graded in this class. All papers and homework assignments are due by the due date that is posted in Blackboard. Should an unexpected conflict arise, you must get in touch with the instructor as soon as possible. It's a student's responsibility to inform the admissions office if you drop the course. An instructor is mandated to provide a letter grade to students still on the roster past a certain date. If students fail to drop the class appropriately, a grade of F can be assigned. What's really important from this statement, though, guys, is the idea that you need to communicate with me. I understand that life happens, so if something's going on in your life that's keeping you from doing your work, please contact me sooner rather than later so that we can figure out a way for you to stay on course in this class. How will you be graded? English 120 requires students to write a minimum of 6,000 words. You will have no problem doing that in this class because it's online. We'll be doing a lot of writing. Your essays, exams, and related assignments are worth 40% of your grade. The online research unit, which is graded based on the test you take after you complete the work, is worth 20% of your class. And participation, which includes our discussion forums and your journals, is worth 40% of the class. So how does this break down? Like I said, participation is discussion forums and journals and then some other assignments. That's a total of 400 points. Your essays and exams. You're going to have an essay, one on comparing and contrasting 2 short stories by Jack London. Then you'll have a first draft of that and a second draft of it. There will be a research prospectus that you develop. There'll be a couple other things that you're going to be working on for that, and then your research essay. All of that is a total of 400 points. Finally, your research unit Launchpad is worth 20%. You'll need to complete the pre-test, post-test, and all 13 research lessons and quizzes. The overall grade will be an average of all of your quizzes. You get to take the quizzes up to 2 times, and only the highest score counts. So if you finish a research unit and a research lesson and you get a terrible grade on that the first time you take the test, take a break, then go back and try it again so that you give yourself the opportunity to get the highest grade possible. There's lots of extra credit opportunities. You can go on a docent-led tour of Jack London State Historic Park in Glen Ellen anytime during the semester and write a 1 to 2 page paper about the experience for 10 extra credit points. For more information, you can visit the Jack London State Historic Park website. Writing assignments. All English 120 students are required to write a minimum of 68,000 words. You have to complete all of the essays in this class if you want to pass the class. So all the essays that you turn in for this class need to be word processed in MS Word, double spaced, and MLA formatted. When you upload them, they need to be .doc or .docx or PDF format. I will not accept papers that are not in those formats. They have to be uploaded. Here's a sample of what an MLA formatted paper looks like here on the right-hand side. You can also see pages 363 to 367 in the Bedford Researcher for a sample paper. All right, each student is responsible for completing the assigned readings and responses to them by the weekly deadline. Reading assignments serve to deepen understanding of concepts, to develop critical thinking skills, and to provide models for writing. We will be learning the fine art of active reading in this class, and students will be expected to interact with their text. That means write notes, look up words, ask questions. Each week we will discuss the readings in the discussion forum. In addition, students will post a weekly journal post where he or she answers questions about our reading assignments. So how to reach me? Like I said, keep in contact. I am your professor and I want to talk to you. That's the reality. So don't fall behind and don't forget to reach out if you do. Or maybe you just want to talk about something that you read in this class. Then stop by my office hours. I'm there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday mornings 9:30 to 11. Tuesday mornings 11 to 12:30, and then 1:30 to 2:30, and then Wednesday mornings 9:30 to 11. You can also set up appointments. I can meet with you on a Thursday or Friday via phone or Skype or something like that as well. Our discussion forums are called the course dialogue. This is where, as a class, we discuss important topics. You're required to participate in these discussions in a timely manner, and you will be graded on your participation. There will be a due discussion forum posted each week, and you must post your own response and responses to at least 3 of your classmates' posts before the end of the week. This is a rubric that I'll be grading for your discussion forums. When you post your own original response, it should be at least 250 words, and it should answer all of the topics that were discussed in the prompt. When you respond to your classmates, your responses need to be at least 150 words, and they need to be substantive. That means they need to expand the conversation beyond what was said by your peer. Please review this. If you don't include this information, spelling counts, by the way, and so does grammar because you're in an English class. You also want to make sure that you are respectful when you respond to your peers. Also, when you start a thread in an online discussion forum, always begin with a salutation like, "Dear class," and end by signing your name. So for this week's discussion forum, it's a really easy forum. We're just going to get to know one another. It's called Introductions, Week 1 Introductions. So I've posted my own introduction already as a model post for you to take a look at. This is what I want you to respond to in your own. Your full name, and if appropriate, a nickname or the name you'd like us to address you by in this class. Where you're from and any details you'd like to share about your family. When you felt like an insider as a reader, and when you felt like an outsider as a reader. And you can see my post understand more what I mean about this. But the idea is, we all experience times in our lives where we feel like everybody else around us is getting something and we don't get it, or that we actually read something and we think, wow, this is really pulling me in. This is like this person speaking my language. So you want to try to find 2 examples of that. It might cause you to think a little, and that's okay. That's what we do in this class, all right? So feel free to think. And then the last thing I want you to do is to tell me, just before you complete anything else in this class, I want you to tell me, what do you know so far about Jack London? Maybe you've never heard of him. Maybe you've read something by him. Maybe you don't know about him, but you're really curious about him. Also, post a photograph of yourself. If you feel really uncomfortable posting a photograph of yourself, please post a photograph of something that you love and explain why. All right? I look forward to seeing your posts. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about active reading. When you read something for this class, I want you to read it. I want you to examine it before and then ask questions while you're reading. This is the active reading checklist, and I'm going to take you through it on the next page. So when you print out the essay, the biographical essay, Jack John Griffith London by Clarice Stas, I want you to think about, first think about the title. And you're going to do this for anything you read for this class. And you're going to do the same thing for the introduction you're reading from the Portable Jack London. So what's the title? It's Jack John Griffith London, right? And what does the title tell us about this text? Well, it's pretty clear that the text is probably about Jack London, right? And some other name that is included inside of his name, which is very interesting. Who wrote the text? Make sure you know this. Always look at the paper or the essay so you know. If you look at this, we can see it was written by Dr. Clarice Stas. Do we know anything about this article? Well, it's really easy to Google someone, so we can Google her, and this is her website. We also see that she's a doctor, so that means that she has a PhD in the subject, so likely she has a background studying it. What genre is it? It looks like it's an essay, so it's nonfiction. When was it published? This one is a web page, and it happens to be dated. Not all web pages are. And it says last updated August 19th, 2001. So this gives us an opportunity to know when it was written. So 15 years have passed since then, so that tells us that maybe things have changed. Things can change in 15 years. So that's just what you do before you read. Now, while you're reading, I want you to print it out so you can write on it. And I want you to circle any words that you aren't familiar with. Then I want you to look them up in a dictionary, okay? Mark words or passages that make you think about things you've already read and explain how you think they relate to one another. Mark words or passages that bring to mind personal experiences and write these personal experiences down. Mark passages that you agree with or disagree with and state why you agree or disagree with the passage. Mark difficult passages so you can come back to them. Mark passages you really like and note why you like the passage. Mark parts of the text that highlight the main theme of the text and explain how you think these passages do so. If you get lost, try and summarize what's being said. And as you're reading, make sure you ask questions. Ask the author questions. What are you talking about, Clarice Stas? Ask yourself questions. How does this make me feel? Or ask characters in the text questions. Ask Jack London. What were you thinking, Jack London? Okay? You'll also be creating a journal each week. Another way that you're going to be doing work in this class is by creating a journal. Usually you're going to be writing about the text that we read, and then later in the class you'll be doing research exercises. You can access your journal prompts each week under lessons and click on the appropriate week. Make sure you read the assigned readings before you do your journal entry. It's really important. Each journal entry must be at least 250 words. It needs to answer all of the questions in the prompt, and it must be turned in by Tuesday. It says Monday here, but I mean Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. each week. Just know that your journal is private. Only you and I will see your entries. This isn't a shared space like the dialogue. So don't be afraid to use your journal post as a means to think through the text that we're reading, as a way for you to think about your research project. Each journal entry is worth 10 points, and you must turn your journal entries in on time to receive full credit. Also, When you're writing about text, make sure you include evidence from the text. That means quotations from the text that you're writing about. So here's your first journal entry. Please actively read the following biographical essay about Jack London, and then write a response to it that is at least 250 words. You're also going to be actively reading the introduction to the portable Jack London. In your response, please do the following. Write a letter to yourself on the last day of class. What do you predict you've learned? What do you predict will be the most challenging thing for you? What goals do you have? What, based on your reading of the biographical essay and the introduction, do you find interesting about Jack London's life? Did you know anything about Jack London before taking this course? What questions do you have about Jack London? Your journal entry is due next Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. You must turn your post in on time to receive full credit. Please make sure you use spell check and you edit your response before you post it. As I said before, this is an English class, so if you make spelling errors, they count against you. Finally, your last assignment is going to be in Launchpad. This week, you're going to also complete your first research module in Launchpad called Orientation and Overview. Each research module has a test at the end. You're allowed to take this test twice, and this test will determine your grade. This unit also includes a pre-test. Please do your best on this test, but know that the grade that you receive does not count against you in any way. The Launchpad materials are already set up in our site. The first time you encounter one of the Launchpad links in the Overview and Orientation module, you will be prompted to enter the access code bundled with the Bedford Researcher. After you enter the code and sync with Launchpad, you will not have to re-enter the access code. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Next week, this is what we'll be working on. Please stop by my office hours or email me if you have any questions or concerns. I really look forward to the rest of the semester with you guys. I'll see you online.